Assalamu alaikum guys, welcome back to another video. This is WizWorks and today we are going to do some geometry practice for the GAT or Qudrat exam, and let's just get right into it. Okay, so number one, it says find the circumference of the circle. So what was given to us is two sides, which is a semicircle. We can see that this is a semicircle. And it forms what? It forms a right triangle. We can see here it says 12 and 16. And we know that relates to the famous Pythagorean triple, which is 3, 4, and 5. If we multiply each by 4, they give us this Pythagorean triple. So 4 times 3 is 12, and 4 times 4 is 16, and 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, and we are basically given that this side is 20, meaning that the diameter of the circle is 20. And we know that finding the circumference, we have to, this is the, formula for finding the circumference. It's diameter pi. This means that the circumference of the circle is equivalent to diameter, which is 20 pi. But in this case, all of our choices are whole numbers and they don't have like pi, not like whole numbers, they're all like numbers that don't include pi. That means we have to do 20 multiplied by 3.14 because that's what pi almost is. And what is 20 times 3.14? Let's do it together. 4 times 2 is 8, and we put a 0, 1 times 0, 0, 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 0, okay. 0, 0, 3 times 0, 0, 3 times 2 is 6, meaning that our answer is 62, and then we bring the point, we bring down the 8, which is choice C. Okay, let's solve number 2. Number 2 says simply find x. Okay, so first of all, we know that supplementary angles add up to 180. And they look something probably like this. So maybe this is the, angle, and then this adds up to 180. So what we're supposed to find is x, and all of this adds up to 180. And we know that the opposite angles are the same, so we know this is 55 as well. That means all we have to do is add 63 plus 55, which is 118. And then now all we do is subtract 180 from 118, which is equivalent to 62. And then it is simply B. So x is 62 degrees. Okay, now let's solve number 3. Number 3 says let JC equal 4CD and ACJK is a parallelogram. Then what is the area of the whole shape? Okay, let's write down what's given to us. So what's given to us is JC is equivalent to 4CD. That's what we know. That's what was given to us. That means JC is equal to 4 times 3, which is 12. That's what, now we know that JC is 12. Because why? Because they told us that 4 times CD, gives us JC. So now that's what we know. Okay, next step. So now we're supposed to find the area of the whole shape. So finding the area of the whole shape, first we should find the area of the parallelogram, this alone, and then the area of the triangle, and then simply just add them together. That seems like to be the more efficient way. So the area of of finding a parallelogram is simply B times H. B times H is the area of a parallelogram. Okay. So what is the base and what is the height? In this sense, it's going to be 12 times 4. 12 times 4. And finding the area of the triangle, we know that the formula for finding the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay, 1/2 base times height. So we have to multiply 3 times 4, which is equal to, okay, let's substitute it. 3 times 4, which is equal to what? It's equal to 12. And then 1/2, which is equal to 6. So the area of the triangle is 6. And plus the area of the parallelogram, well, we didn't do 12 times 4, which is 48. That means we're adding 6 to 48, which is equal to 54. And that is our answer. Our answer is B. Now let's move on to number 4. So number 4 says, find the perimeter of the shape. Find the what? The perimeter of the shape. So the perimeter. Okay, so what's given here? We are given 2 and we are given 8. And we are told that each single, I guess you can call it stairway, is a 2. And all we have to do is simply just bring one up, bring one to the side, bring one up, bring one to the side, bring one up, bring one to the side. So we can make it a whole shape like this. So since the length of all of these segments is 2, we're just going to simply move them as I showed you. So they can make this, the shape. I can make what? Is this going to make a square? The shape is a square. Okay. And we know that the perimeter of a square, finding the perimeter of a square, is simply 4 times the side. This is not a 5, excuse me. It's supposed to be like the side. So each side. And without even doing any hard work, we simply know that the side is 8, and we know that the side of squares are all equal. So 4 times 8, simply 32. And the perimeter of the square, or the shape, is A, 32. Now let's move on to number 5. So number 5 says find x. Find x. Okay. So we know that vertically opposite angles are what? They're equal. So we know this rule. We know the rule that vertically opposite angles are equal. Here as well and here as well. Okay. So that means what? This means this is equal to this. It means this has to give us a number in total that will be 100. So 2 times what? Minus 80 is 100. We can substitute every single option. We can solve this algebraically as well, or we can just think of this logically. Okay, I'm going to show you all of the ways. But first, I'm going to start off with the easiest way, in my opinion, which is just thinking logically. We know that we have to do something times 2 to equal 180. Why? Because we want to minus it from 80, and then we're going to get 100, which is congruent to the other side, or equal, to the other side. So let me show you what I mean. So I know 2 times what is equal to 180. So I know just from the top of my head that 90 times 2, and I can show you this, is equal to 180. And simply we can substitute it right here. So 290 minus 80, and we already found that it's 180. 180 minus 80 is equal to 100, which is congruent, or I mean equal, I keep saying congruent, equal to this side. Okay, let me show you another way. We can also solve this problem algebraically. How? Let me show you. Okay, so we can simply just set it up as an equation. So 4x minus 80 equals to 100. Or I don't know why I wrote 180. Okay, equal to 100. Since we know that these are equal from the vertically opposite angles rule. So we can simply now just solve for x. Plus 80 plus 80, 2x equals 180, right? And what is 180 divided by 2? It's equal to 90. And that is another way you can solve for x. There is one more way you can do this. You can also do this by plugging in each value. I feel like this is an inefficient way, in my opinion, but if you really don't remember the rules and everything like that, this is still an option that will lead you to an answer, but it's not what it's not something I recommend because it's very time consuming and it's just very inefficient. So I recommend the first option, which is just, I don't know, like just thinking logically. If you know it, you know it. But if you don't, I feel like algebraically solving it is also very efficient and easy. Okay guys, so you learned 3 ways how to solve this problem. While I was editing this video, I stumbled upon a 4th and simple way you can do this, so I thought, why not show you guys? So we know that supplementary angles add up to 180. Like all of this, a line adds up to 180, right? And we know that this line and this line are going to add up, like here's 180 and here's 180. So that means here is 80. And that means here is 80 as well. But now all we need is either this line or this line. So let's just say we're doing this. We know that this is 100, right? If you didn't know that these opposites are 100, by simply putting 80, you know that this is 100 now. Now all you have to do is just know the value that equals, if you multiply it by 2 equals 180, and then you subtract it by 8. And as we did previously in the other step, and this will lead you to the correct answer. But I thought I would show you guys this idea too. Let's move on to the next problem. The next problem also says find x. Okay. So we know, even though they didn't tell us that this is an isosceles triangle, but we have to assume that this is an isosceles triangle, which means these sides are congruent, which means this has to equal 25. And we kind of just solve it the same way. I want you to pause the video and apply what you learned. Like, just try to solve it from any of the 3 ways. I recommend the first 2 ways, not the third way. Okay, now let's solve it together. So we can simply just think logically. 4 times what gives you 20? Because we know that 4 times 5. We know that 4 times 5 equals 20. Since we have to add 5, it's going to give us 25, which is going to give us this. So we know that x is 5. Another way we can solve this, again, is algebraically. Okay, so 5 plus 4x equals 25. Let's minus 5, 4x equals 20. 20 divided by 4, x equals 5. That's method number 1, method number 2, and method number 3. The one I do not recommend because why? It is time consuming. But it works. So you can use it, but I definitely do not recommend this way. So let's erase the algebraic way so we can get some space. Okay. Okay, let's try plugging in each value. Since we already plugged in 5, let's just move on to the next one. So we know that 4 times 4, what's 4 times 4? If you don't like know this from the top of your head, I feel like an easy way to do this, like personally, 4 times 2, what's 4 times 2? I feel like we all know this. And then 8 times 2 is 16. So that's an easier way to solve this. Okay, so 16. And what's 16 plus 5? 16 plus 5 is 21. And 21 is not 25. It's not the other side, so we know that it's not B. Let's plug in the other values. Okay, let's plug in 3. Okay, so 4 times 3 equals 12, and 12 plus 5 equals 17, and that is not 25. So again, we have to cancel this. And what is 4 times 2? It equals 8, and 8 plus 5 equals 13. That's not it, once again. So now we can double check that our answer is A. Now let's move on to the next problem. The next problem says, find the area of the shaded region. So the region in gray. Okay, and what was given to us is that the side is equal to 10. And we have to find the area. We have to find the area of the shaded region. Okay, so we know that a side is 10. That means the diameter is 10. That means the radius is what? The radius is half of the diameter. So 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So the radius equals 5. And how do we find the area of a regular square, a whole square? Finding the area of a square is simply a side squared. A side what? Squared. And we know that a side equals 10. 10 squared. What's 10 squared? It equals 100. And do we know the formula of a circle? We know that the formula area of a circle is equal to pi radius squared. And we know that the radius is 5. So that means it's going to be, this is a circle, by the way. I just wanted to, I guess, illustrate it. This means the area of a circle. Okay, so let's just plug in values now. Plug in values, pretty fun. Okay, so it's gonna be pi radius, which is 5 squared. And we know that 5 squared equals 25. So 25 pi. And we have to find the area of a shaded part. This is the area of the circle, and this is the area of the circle, and this is the area of the square. All we have to find is the area of the shaded region. So what do we do now? In order to find the area of the shaded part, all we have to do is area of the square and subtract that by the area of the circle, and then divide all of it by 2, which is going to give us the area of the shaded region. Okay, now let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, now let's do that. Let's free up some space, first of all. So what did we just say? We just said we have to subtract the area of the square from the area of the circle. And we found that the area of the square is 100, and the area of the circle is 25 pi. And then we have to divide all of it by 2. Okay, we should not leave the 25 as 25 pi, since we are, there is no like options with pi here. Since there are no options with pi, we simply have to do 25 times 3.14. 25 times what? 3.14, which gives us approximately 78.5. So now we subtract 100 from 78.5 and divide all of it by 2. Okay, so now what is 100 minus 78.5? It's 21.5, and then we divide the 21.5 by 2, which is equal to approximately 10.75. Let me double check that. So 21.5 divided by 2 is, yeah, 10.75. Okay, and now we simply just look for in our answer choices, and our answer is C. Okay, let's move on to question number 8. Okay, so it says if a circle is divided by 4 straight lines, that they did not intersect, or they only intersect at the circumference, then how many regions was the circle divided into? Okay, they really just tried to overcomplicate the question, and the question is so simple, so straightforward. They're saying that all they're saying is that we have a circle. Okay, we have a circle. We put 4 straight lines that don't touch each other except like at the tips right here. So we say, let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we literally just count 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. And our answer is simply A. This was really simple. They just tried to overcomplicate the question and make you just consume your time by reading the question. So don't get tripped up by that, and simply just look at the bigger picture. Now let's move on to number 9. We only have number 9 and number 10 left, so push through. Okay, it says, which of the following angles cannot be an angle of convex quadrilateral? And we know that a convex shape, this should be, you should know this, okay? A convex shape angle is less than 180 degrees. So you literally don't even have to think for this one. If you see this word, simply look for the choice. They said cannot be, so don't even get tripped up by that. It says cannot be, so look for the choice that's greater than 180, which is literally just D. So it's 190 degrees, because the 190 degrees cannot be a convex shape because it's greater than 180 degrees. Now let's move on to question number 10. This is our final question. I'm glad you made it through. So it says, find the volume of a cube if the diagonal of one of its faces is 4. Okay, so we know that to find the volume of the cube, we need to find a side. We need to find one of the sides. And we know, okay, let me draw it out since they gave us the... Oh, this is a very bad... I don't like when they like tilt it like that. Okay, let me just draw it out. It's like this, like this, like this. This is a cube. And they gave us like the diagonal, which they said is 4. Okay. And to find the volume of a cube, we have to find the side. And the diagonal basically like forms, they basically form like a triangle, right? You can see kind of like a triangle. And the 4 is kind of like the hypotenuse, right? And we know that the hypotenuse is equivalent to what? It's equivalent to the side radical of 2. And we know that the hypotenuse, this side, is given. It's equal to 4. So 4 is equal to the side radical of 2. Let's kind of, I guess, solve for s in this case. Solve for the variable. We simply have to do this. So it's going to be s is equal to 4 divided by the radical of 2. Okay. And they told us now to find the volume. Now we know the side of each one, the side. And we know that the volume, finding the volume of a cube is simply the side cubed. So what we have to do is, let's change the color. what we have to do is plug it in. So we just found the side is 4 over the radical of 2. All we have to do is cube it. And we know that 4 cubed is equivalent to 64. And this, we have to put it as well. So we're going to have to do radical of 2 cubed. And then radical of 2 cubed, which is going to give us 2 cubed, and then 64. Now, what do we have to do? We have to rationalize the denominator. And what does rationalize the denominator mean? It simply means we have to remove the radical for here. So what we do is this, which is a radical. Doing it by a radical is going to give you just the number right here, which is going to be 2. So we're going to get 32 to radical of 2, and then just 2. So let's divide. What is 32 divided by 2? 32 divided by 2 is 16. And then we have radical of 2 left, which this is our answer now. And we look for that in the choices and we locate it. It's letter D. We have solved our final problem, and I'm so glad you guys pushed through 10 problems of geometry section of the Qudrat. This is WizWorks, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment down below.